Not sure why I don't have that.
15B last.
Oh, one sec. I have the wrong. Okay. So 15B, the bottom line. And we're in the middle of dashing the Megillah, and the bottom line by you, Nikra. So it says that early few psukkah before it said that it said that was not able to, and the Gemara because a few reasons what that means, either Hashem or Hashverosh. Right, he was bothered. So the pasuk says Vayun Nikroim. So he said that they should bring the Chronicles, and then the pasuk says Vayun Nikroim. They were read. They were read. That's not a regular. There's some.
They were read before the king.
Before the king. The Malamed Shenikram Eilen. So the drush is that it was read of itself. Means that not that somebody read it, but it was miraculously read, and that would mean that people that were there didn't want to read it. But Hashem.
Otherwise, it would say what?
Ayikru lefanav. They read. It says it was read. So there's a nuance that it was read without anybody reading it, which would mean that it was miraculously.
It was known.
It was read. It was read.
Like Rivka. It was read by itself. Like with Rivka, it was known or something. It said it didn't tell her. She went to Shem Ve'ever or something.
Okay, that's saying the word Vayivodah.
I'm saying
the word Nikra means that it was read. That's without any comparisons. It was read. The word means that it was read. So usually you would say it became read. It doesn't say that it was someone who was.
Okay.
They're referring to.
That's what I'm referring.
The pasuk says Vayimatzei Kosev. It was found written. That's also a strange way to say it. It was found written. Kosav mi boile. It should have said that it was found that it had been written. Vayimatzei Kosev means that it was found written. It only talks about the fact that it was written, not that somebody wrote it. That somebody was trying to erase it. So who's that? Shimshai. Who's Shimshai? So everybody knows Shimshai is the son of Haman. But it's interesting because it doesn't say so beferish, and in the contrary, it says it's mentioned that it was somebody that was there's no real source l'chora that he was a son of Haman. They down says so from some quote.
I'm saying.
It was found written.
And it should have said it.
Someone had written it. We found that someone had written. You could say other reasons why the Gemara's drashes, but the word Vayimatzei was found. It was found. That sounds a little strange way to say it, but it is that it was written now miraculously. Or says that it was written miraculously because somebody was trying to erase it. And who's that? So who's Shimshai? We know in the pasuk Rashi is down the pasuk in Ezra. So there was a scribe and he was in Israel. He had stopped the Beis Hamikdash from being built. He was in the Beis Hamikdash, and here it says that he, the one who was trying to erase. People quote that Shimshai was a son of Haman. There's not too much source for that, and not even source of the. You've heard of that? That Shimshai, everybody, all the kids know that Shimshai was a son of Haman. So it's not so. Okay. Anyways, I was erasing all the Malach was writing.
But he's not in the
No, he's not. He's only not in the. But we just said that Haman had a lot of sons, 208. He had a lot of sons.
But
so
because he was also in the times of Ezra or something.
He was evil, and he was the one who had written the document to the king Artaxerxes to try to stop the Beis Hamikdash, and he succeeded in stalling the building of the Beis Hamikdash. And here the Gemara says that he was there by some reason. He was in Shushan. Even you see him in Ezra that he was in Eretz Yisrael. He was the one who was writing over, sending letters to the king to stop the Jews. So here he's going to be in Shushan. That he's a son of Haman, and it doesn't say no the Midrashim. Also, the question is who says that he's the son of Haman? Okay. The Gemara continues about the side point, the fact that you see that good writing about Mordechai Hashem did not allow it to be erased. If it was erased, Gabriel wrote it in again. Amr Abbasi Dash of Shila Ishkfar Timrasa, or Maksav Shalamata Shalaschushin Shal Yisrael Enu Nimchak, Ksav Shalamada Lo Kolshken. If you see writing in this world, that's for the merit of Am Yisrael. Hashem makes sure that it doesn't get erased. So too, surely things that are written in the heavenly records surely doesn't get erased. Everything that's written for the merit of Am Yisrael doesn't get erased. So it says over there, Achashverosh asked, so what was done to pay back Mordechai? And they said, Lo Nasai Modavar, nothing was done. The reason why the people, the Na'arim, the servants over there, they said to Achashverosh that nothing was done, wasn't because they loved Mordechai and they wanted they should get paid. It's because they hated Haman, and Haman and Mordechai were rivals, and in order to put down Haman, they wanted to elevate the rival of Haman. Not that they had a personal love for Mordechai, they had a personal hate for Haman. Over there it says that Haman came to ask the king to hang Mordechai on the gallows that he had prepared for him. Heichen lo. Tana lo heichen. He prepared it for himself. Means heichen lo, you could read, of course, the Pashut is that he prepared for Mordechai, but in the Pasuk, you could read it all on the Drash level that he prepared for himself, because that's what happened at the end. Even though he didn't mean to, he had prepared the gallows for himself.
The one before, nothing had been done for him. They just because they hated Haman so much.
That's why they wanted Mordechai should get reward. Something bothering you? You're not expressing.
They're just putting it in.
No.
So in other words, this is a drush. The shot is
No.
enough that we see that no reward was given to him.
Yeah, no, we're not changing anything in those words. We're just saying what was their motivation.
Not because they loved him.
Nothing in the psukim that would actually. We're not saying that. Why did they say that? What did them to say that? He might say because they're loyal servants, and the king said, "What does it say?" So they said, "What it says." And then they asked, "What was done?" So they said, "Nothing was done." But the Gemara is saying motivation. They have no reason. They would have nothing was done. Invented something. If they would have not have, here the Gemara says, if it wouldn't have been for Haman, the hate against Haman, they would have said something. He was paid already. He was paid.
It wasn't
They weren't doing it because they loved Mordechai. They did it because they hated him.
Okay.
Hey, there's a drash to say that that it's hinting in the pasuk that he had prepared it for himself, which we see at the end. He's the one who done it. So do all that for Mordechai. Whatever you said about the horse with the crown, do that to Mordechai. Amalei, Manu Mordechai. Who's Mordechai? Amalei HaYehudi. The Gemara is mentioning the long pasuk. It says, "Do so to Mordechai HaYehudi HaYoshev B'Shalom Malach." Please read psukim. So it's very long. It doesn't say Mordechai because Haman was trying to. You can tell from the discussion what Haman was saying. Because Haman said, "Who's which Mordechai? Amalei HaYehudi, Mordechai the Jew. Amalei Tuva Mordechai Yikel BaYehudi. Many Jewish Mordechais. Amalei HaYoshev B'Shalom Malach, the one who's sitting by the king's gate." That particular Mordechai. Now he couldn't get out of it anymore. But he said, "Oh, Amalei." They put in the word Hahu. That Mordechai. Sagile B'Chad Diskanto. Inani B'Chad Now. It's enough to give him some kind of reward, like some district or some river. You don't have to give him a whole presentation that I talked about, where you're riding on the king's horse and the Labush Malchus and the royal garb. That he doesn't need for that. Amalei Hanami Havlei Altapel. The one we call the Shedi Barata to do that also. Haman was trying to minimize and get out of the reward that he had to carry.
We ended up adding.
Right, he even added more. The pasuk says, he took the garment and the horse, and in short, the pasuk says that he is the one who dressed Mordechai. So that's going to be a long medrash over here. How come he himself dressed Mordechai? How come he didn't get somebody else to dress Mordechai? So I said district.
Oh.
I made it sound pretty close. Discarta district. I think it might have some connection. So now I'm going to say a long drash here, a long story. When he went to Mordechai, he found that Mordechai was sitting with Talmidei Chachamim, and he was showing them how to do kmitza. Kmitza means when you have a meal offering. So in order to take the part that goes onto the mizbeach, you do a fistful and you put it onto the mizbeach. When Mordechai saw that Haman was coming towards him and he had a horse with him, so he was scared that Haman was coming to kill him. Mordechai said to the Rabbanan that was sitting in front of him that this rush is coming to kill me. Go, like run away, that you shouldn't get brought in his car. You should, doesn't say if they ran away or not. So far, doesn't say later on, it's going to say that they didn't. But it says that he ran away. And it's not that Mordechai become this close. At that time, so Mordechai ran himself and he started because Haman was coming to kill him. Also, Haman v'Yosef they kamai. Here it says kamayu. So it seems that they were still there because it says doesn't say kamei. He said over them. So he Haman came and he asked them. It sounds like he asked them, not only Mordechai, he asked everybody. What are you doing? My excuse, what are you doing? Amulei, Bizban Shabbos Mikdash Kayim, Madam Menadev Mincha, Maisi Melo, Kumtse, Desolta, Umeskapale. At the time of the Beis Hamikdash, not a Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, but at the time of the Beis Hamikdash, somebody that would donate a meal offering, he would bring a fistful of flour and he would get atoned, Umeskapale. The Pashto on the words in the Gemara say it doesn't say Omer. This is not Omer. Here it says somebody that donates mincha. So this is not a Omer. Rashi learns here that it was a Omer, and he has a cheshbon that this was the 16th of Nisan. The Pashto says it was the 17th because this is already the 13th of Nisan was when the decree was, and then they fasted the 14th, 15th, and 16th, and this is already the day after. This is already at night. Mordechai, someone came to Achashverosh to get permission, and this is the next day. The Pasha is holding now the 17th day of Nisan. Rashi learns that it's the 16th. He says a pshat how to fit it in. But I'm just saying the words of the Gemara don't say that simply, and also it seems to say that it was not to cover only.
What ways? It just says a mincha, right?
It says a mincha, and I'm saying Rashi says that it's a omer, and I'm saying that the Gemara pshat is not an omer. As it not says somebody not a omer. Not that he brought it, they're learning the halachas of Omer. He says that in time of the Beis Hamikdash they would bring a Omer, they would bring mincha. So Rashi knows that was a minchas Omer because it was the 16th of Nisan. I'm just saying the Gemara doesn't seem to say that. Rashi is going against the simple words because here it says it's a menadev, it's a voluntary mincha, and a person brings a mincha of solace. It goes on and he gets a kapara. A minchas nedava causes a kapara. So I'm just saying that even though you see Rashi talks about the Omer, I'm just saying that the Pashto Gemara doesn't say that. The Gemara says that it was a nedava, and also the Pashto was not the 16th; it was the 17th already. The Gemara continues. It came the fistful of your flour, and it pushed away. It rode 10,000 points of silver of mine.
This is what Mordechai is saying.
What Haman is what Haman said.
Oh, Haman is
that he sees that Mordechai is winning. That he was already decreed that he wanted to kill Mordechai. Now Mordechai is called Mishnah Lamelech. He's elevated, not Mishnah Lamelech, but he's elevated to the king's beloved man. So he's not going to be able to kill him anymore. The truth is that this is already the downfall of Haman. Haman said nothing of my riches and all my power. Mordechai is not down was made up that it was like it pushed away my talents of silver. So Mordechai told him, "You're calling it your 10,000 talents of silver, as if you have 10,000 talents of silver." Russia, if a slave property, who does the property belong to? That you're never. So don't call it your money. Amalei. So now the story continues. Come lavosh hanimani urchovai. You rise and put on these clothing, the royal garments, and ride this royal horse. The boy the king wants. That's what the king wants of you. Amalei leechilna da'ilana lebeibani veshkal lemaze. The lavar chal l'shamush b'mani demal kafi. I can't do that until I go into the bathhouse, and also that I take a haircut, because it's not the cheres that I should use the garments of the king in such a way, the way that I am now. I have to wash myself, take a haircut. Esther sent and she closed up all of the bathhouses and all of the barbers. And only all left. This is a medrash that's saying that this is the plan, that they're going to cause that Haman should be the one who's going to have to do it himself. So the Gemara is going back on the words that it says, by Mordechai. Right?
And she
wanted to make that should be do to himself. I don't know if you have to take it literally to mean that this is what Medrash is presenting, whatever the point is to be. But this, she closed up all of the bathhouse and all the barbers. So he himself took him into the bathhouse and he was washing it. He went home and got a pair of scissors and he was cutting his hair. While he was cutting his hair, Ingad Visnach, he was sighing and krechzen. I don't know what these two words mean. Two words for the word sighing. What do they say in English? Ingad Visnach.
Felt faint and groaned.
Faint and groaned. I don't know where they got that from. Okay, just to point out that the word Ingad is a similar word, the targum of the word by Yigva. Vayigba Bayamos. Whenever it says that somebody died, a tzaddik Vayigba Bayamos, so use that word in Targum. Maybe that's what it means to grow faint. Amalei, Amai Kam Misnachas. So Mordechai asked him, what's the problem? Why are you groaning? Amalei, Gavra, they have a chashav leila malka mikulu ravanohi hashta l'shavi balani v'safar. The man who was important to the king more than any other officers now became a bath attendant and a barber. Amalei Russia, v'lav sapashal kfar Kartzam Ma'isa. So Mordechai told him, weren't you the barber of the village of Kartzam? That you used to be a barber. Don't forget. Tana Haman sapashal kfar Kartzam Ma'isa mushtam sham. The Brisa says he was a barber, and there, and for 22 years he was a barber.
Here, Haman, what he's bemoaning is that it's not his status, right? He felt like he had a certain
Status, yeah, he was the prime minister.
in the,
And the king, and now we can.
know is anacha.
Right?
Yeah, itnach means anacha.
Yes, I just said the word ingad is a chiddush. What is the word ingad? So I said that's a targum of the word vayigba, and our scroll translates it as growing faint. Okay, second wide line. After he took he cut his hair, so he dressed him the clothing. He told him, go up on the horse. He made tanis, I can't because I'm weak. My strength is weak from the days of the fast. He fasted for 3 days. So Haman bent down in order to raise Mordechai. He should be able to step on him in order to get on the horse. When Mordechai was going up, he gave him a kick. So Haman asked Mordechai, doesn't it say in your Torah that when your enemy falls, don't rejoice? So it's true that I'm your enemy and I'm falling, but you're not supposed to rejoice. That's only Jewish enemies. By you, by our Gentile land, it says you should trample on their heights. So he trampled on him, and he gave him a kick.
It's in Torah. It's in Chumash.
Yes, the first one is the second one is in the Chumash.
What is it?
Just their plateaus on their backs and giving them darshaning that you trample on them.
On plateaus of
The enemies, yes.
speaking?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
The pasuk, so that was all under the pasuk. That was a long time since we had a highlight. The Skabanakat Basel Bishvila the Bay Haman Chazite Brate the Kaima Igra, when he was going through, he was passing through the street, so he passed the street where of the house of Haman, and Haman's daughter was standing on the roof. She saw the whole parade. She thought the one who's riding the horse is going to be her father, and the one who's walking in front of him is going to be Mordechai. She figured for sure that's what's happening. She took the chamber pot and she threw it onto the head of her father, that she thought that it was the head of Mordechai. She wanted to degrade Mordechai, but she degraded her father. Haman picked up his eyes to look up, we'll do that to him. And she saw that as her father. She fell from the roof. She fell herself and she died. She fell off the roof.
So when she fell, it doesn't necessarily mean that she committed suicide.
She did not know. Yeah, she fell. Yeah. She fell herself. She fell herself.
She fell herself.
Yeah. She threw herself off the roof. She killed herself. Yeah.
Okay. That you know that from the words. It's not
Whenever
that she was like in such horror and then she lost her balance or something.
I wouldn't think so.
I'm just asking.
I think when it says Nafla Migral, many times it has that. We had that also on Tinus over there. I think if you could maybe look it up, I think over there it says about the story about that guy that wanted to save the Jews, so he killed himself in order that the decree should be. I think over there it says the same words, but I have to check it up to make sure that it says
What is Me'igra?
from the roof. From the roof.
She fell from the roof
To the ground, and she died. That's why it says, so really the Gemara is going to dash in the next line. This is like in the first pasuk with dashing now is not the subject we're talking about. We'll get to the next pasuk of Haman. But it says, Mordechai went back after the whole procession. So Mordechai went back to the gate of the king. On that, so he returned to what he was doing before. Before he was fasting and sackcloth and fasting that. Someone went to his house of Bel. So you can think it means sad. But the Gemara is going to morning, and his face covered. Why is he Ovel? Because his daughter just died. That the two things, that he's mourning for his daughter who just died, and Chafui Rosh means covered on his head from what happened to him, that the chamber pot was thrown on his head. That's what he was covered with.
Story of walking on.
That's the Pasuk shot, but we're in the Drash world now. His head covered with excrement. Just point out that according to the Gemara that says Saka B'Taniso, again the question would arise, if it's the 17th of Nisan, they shouldn't be fasting anymore. According to the Pasuk Pshat, he did 14th, 15th, and the 17th already. So why is he fasting? Why not? It's the next day. He could have already eaten last.
No, you could also say that he was a week from the 3 days.
Went back to here. He went back to his fast. Here, this word. The Shavuot, the Saka, after the procession, he went back to his fasting. So I'm asking that according to the simple pshat, Rashi does say a different, but according to the simple pshat, that the fasting today was 17, that he chose to. Because that's the main Rosh over here. But I was pointing out that if it does say Lataniso, it has to be explained why the Chara is already the 17th. If that's good, we go on to the second white line. Haman came home and he told his wife Zeresh and all of his friends what happened to him. And then it says, his wise men told him that give in, like, no, don't give in, humble yourself. The pasuk changes the word that his friends, his beloved ones, and ones who love him, and then it calls him his wise men. Why does it change the term? Whoever says wise, even if he's from the Gentiles, he's called wise. So they said a wise. They said that if it's from the Jews, so fall before him. You're going to fall before him. So that's why he's called the Chacham. They say if is there a Yudim or Binyamin. If he's from one of these four and he happens to be from Binyamin, you can say be Yehudi because his mother was from Yehuda, went to Midrash. But if he's from these four tribes, he won't be able to overcome him. How do I know? Or the Drash Yehuda, the Siv Yabar, he was promised, he was blessed that his hand is going to be in the neck of his. And the Enoch on the other ones, Yaman Ephraim and Menashe, the Sivu were passing in him. 80. The Fnei Ephraim and Menashe over Rosh Gevurah. That's all the pasuk. That we ask Hashem, the psalmist asks Hashem that you should arouse your strength before Ephraim and Menashe. When they go to war, so you should arouse your strength. So these four tribes, you're not going to be able to overcome. And since Mordechai is from Binyamin, so his wise men told him you're not going to be able to overcome him. So there are two pshatim over there. You should fall before him, or you're going to fall. You're surely going to fall. And it says a double lashon, not fall people. You're going to fall. Why does it say a double term of falling? They told the wife told them, we find this nation of Am Yisrael is compared to this. And it's compared to, that means when they go down, they go all the way down. And all the way up. So the faulty pole means that they go all the way up, you're going to go all the way down. They don't just go up, they go all the way up. They're now in the dust and they're going to go up and up. So you're going to go down and down. So we say, the officers, while they were still talking,
And they quote Haman, what's his name? Bilam. Why do they quote Bilam when he says about Malek and they're going to lose all their existence. What's that?
we say a day obeyed.
A day of it.
Doesn't say a double lashon over there. I'm not sure. I'm not
No,
sure.
but he's saying that you'll come to complete destruction.
A day over. Okay.
As a
The Gemara,
riot.
the Gemara is bringing about the Jews.
They're
But
not mitzaref to the Amalek side.
maybe he's talking here about. It's true. It doesn't mean that a pasuk about the goyim falling a double fall. It talks about the Jews going up a double height, and that's understood that the goyim are going to fall double fall. Okay.
Amalek going down a double, the complete.
Okay.
He's saying that you surely will not prevail. The thrust is
Right.
that Mordecai is
Because
going
Mashiach is going all the way
not
up.
that
A
he's
double.
going
He's going a double up. So you're
Yeah.
going to be going a double down.
No, I'm saying that not that you're going to be going a double down. You won't be able to prevail over him because he has a double up.
But the Gemara says the word nafal tipo. The Gemara is actually the word nafal tipo. What's the whole drash over here? Why it says a double down? Why does it say nafal tipo? That's the drash over here.
And the float is also
That was the whole drash. The whole drash is on the words nafal tipo.
Nafalti. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
The
but
pasuk-
Lashon is used by the
They'll go all the way down.
Ki pol hanofel.
Yeah.
Not exactly. The faller is going to fall. Here it says nafal tipo is like a makor. Nafal is falling. Falling is going to fall. This is more double than over there.
Like the actual field.
Over there it says the faller is going to fall. That's not exactly the same. But so we say while they were talking, so it says the officers arrived and they what was the word by Avilu with commotion. I don't have a nice English word. They any translation?
For which one?
Vayavilu.
They panicked. They made him to panic.
They brought him with commotion, but I don't have a nice one word for that. They commotioned him. Rushed, okay. They brought him with commotion. And Rashi says that they didn't have time to wash up. That's Rashi throws in. The Gemara doesn't say it openly. The Gemara says that they brought him
cleaned off
off the mess from his daughter's chamber pot. So it doesn't say that in the Gemara exactly. Rashi says that it was Bala, but that's what the simple words in the Gemara, in the Pasuk, by Avilu. So Rashi is saying that it means they brought him because without having a chance to clean up, which is strange because he would say as soon as he came home, he would wash himself. Before he spoke to his wife and his
I thought he was
friends.
going to pull out of it with all his wives and his.
Okay, yeah, didn't work.
They told him worse. They said, knowing that you're going to fall all the way.
So then we fast forward a little bit, and it talks about Esther in the Mishnah, and she says to the king that now she tells him the problem. I and my nation was sold to be destroyed, and it would have only been sold for slaves. Have said anything about the damage done to the king. That you want to kill all of us. It's the damaging of the king. She said to Achashverosh, the king, this enemy does not care about the damage done to the king. When he was jealous of Vashti, he wanted to kill her, and now that he's jealous of me, he wants to kill me. And this is referring to the drash before. The Gemara said Memuchan is Haman, and he's the one who suggested that Vashti should be killed. And now Esther wants to arouse the anger of Achashverosh against Haman, that he's the one who caused his wife to be killed. So he says he killed your first wife, now he wants to kill me also. That's why it says Eino Shova b'nei Melech. He doesn't care about the damage done to the king. Who is this? Who's this man who did that? He didn't say that someone yet. She said somebody. So he said, who is that? But it says a double term. The king said, he said to Esther Malka, he says 2 times the word Vayomer. Why does it say 2 times the word Vayomer? Until now, he always spoke to Esther through a translator. Not a translator of the language, but somebody in between, because it wasn't the honor of the king to be speaking to her directly. So it seems strange that the king and his wife, but his wife, even though he was his wife, but she was a commoner, and he didn't know who she was, and just a girl that no one knows her nationality. So he didn't talk to her directly. But now that she said that I come from the house of Shaul, she's from the royalty, as we had before, that Esther descends from Shaul, the Gemara said. So now he's her directly. I just said a pshat a couple of days ago, just mentioning it, that maybe the reason why Mordechai told Esther not to reveal her nationality is because if she would say this royalty, that would make more reason to be remaining as queen, and Haman and Mar wanted that. He wanted that she shouldn't be known that she's from royal family. But now it was necessary to bring it out, and now Taka, she became chashiv in the eyes of Achashverosh. But Tomer Esther ish savayev Haman abazeh. So it says this Haman. So I don't think to take it literally, because that wouldn't be politically correct. But according to the Drash, it says that she was pointing towards Achashverosh, and ish savayev. And then Haman arose. Then the Malach came and turned her hand that she should point towards Haman. Of course, she wouldn't have pointed towards Achashverosh. That would not be the right thing to do. But the point is that the Gemara is trying to hint to us that Achashverosh was also evil, and he also wanted to do it, and he's whatever game he's playing over here. But he also wanted to. He was guilty, like the Gemara said before, the mashal of the one who has a mound and a ditch, and he also was interested in killing the Jews. But he played it nice over here. But he really also was a ish savo yev, but he played the part, and now Esther got him to rescind the decree. The pasuk says, it says the king got up in his fury to go into the garden, and then he came back, and Haman was on the bed, and he got furious at him. But it says the king got up to go to the Ginas Abisan, and he came back from the Ginas Abisan. The pasuk compares coming back to going. Just like when he went out to the garden because he was angry, when he came back, he also was angry. It means that he had another, just like he had a reason to be angry when he was in the house and his wife was going to be killed. So too he came back also with anger. What's angry? What was anger in the garden? Because he went into the garden, he saw that there were angels that appeared like men, and they were uprooting the trees of his orchard. This is an orchard. We saw the other day. Chatzar, Ginas, Bisham. We translate the word Bisham. Some translate it as a house, a palace of some sort. It's Ibn Ezra. But the Gemara seems to say, like Rashi in the Megillah says, that it means a orchard, and that might be the Pshat the Gemara over here. That the Bisham is like a bustan, it means a garden, orchard. So Achashverosh asked, "What are you doing? What are you cutting down the trees for?" Amulei, the Pakadin and Haman told us to do that. So he became furious. Again, another fury. He came in. What are you?
Does anyone talk about why he would go out to the garden?
To cool down, to chill out, as they say.
Why wouldn't he automatically order him dead or something?
You have to think about this. Like, what is happening?
Okay.
Okay, I don't know. My guess is as good as his. So also Lebesi, he came back inside the house, like it says. He came back in the house, and it says over here, that Haman was falling on the couch of Esther. No family boy. They wanted to say no fail. They should have said that he had fallen, not that he is falling now. That the Malach, he's trying to get up. The Malach kept taking him down. So the king said, in the house, go. Haman's problems. Inside, he's trying to kill my son. He's trying to take down my orchard.
That was an illusion, or
it says Malachim appeared like people. As if he's trying to suppress her even in the king's own house. The pasuk continues, Vayomer Charbona. The Charbona, at that point, he said, so he does the gallows they made in order to kill Mordechai, who had spoken good about the king. Who's Charbona? Originally, he was also together in this king. He was bad. But he ran away at the last minute. When he sees that Haman's down and his scheme is not working, so he ran away from Haman and he came to the side of Mordechai and he said, yeah, Haman's a bad guy. Pasuk in Eov, it says about the evil man that when it comes a punishment upon him without mercy, so then people run away from him. From his proximity, people run away. So that means that when Haman was out on the high, so then he had friends. And now when he got down, so everyone ran away. Chavon used to be scheming with him. And now he ran away and he came against him. And he's the one who slandered him. And now that's going to be the downfall of Haman. He was killed. Telu Alav, he was hung on the gallows that he had made for Mordechai.
It was Harvona who said.
The Chavon is the one who said that there's the tree that to kill the most beloved man who cares about, that's considered the treason. The fact that he wants to kill the one who saved the king's life, that means he's the biggest enemy of the king. They want to kill the one who saved.
So he suggested hang.
The pasuk says, "V'chamasa." Yes, please.
They don't say to hanging. Just as that's.
Oh, I'm sorry. The king said.
The king said to Lu Allah.
The king said,
Right,
yeah,
the
he
king
didn't. He didn't. I'm sorry.
He said, "This is the tree, the gallows that Haman wanted to hang Mordechai, who spoke good about the king, who's this for the king." The Hamas Melech Shechacha, and then they killed Mordechai, and the anger of the king subsided. But it has this word Shechacha that has like a double chaf. Why two calming down? Hashem's anger is subsiding. That's one is hinting to Hashem, and the other one is Achashverosh. Amrila, others have different shot. Both of them is Achashverosh, because now he took revenge from Haman, who killed Vashti and also wanted to kill Esther. So not only the anger of now, also the old anger that he was holding in, that Haman is the one who had killed Vashti, which once again refers to the drash that Memuchana is Haman. Now we go on a little tangent, but the tangent's coming in because the first one is going to be relevant to the Megillah Esther, and then the rest of it is going to be darshaning all the psukim in Vayigash. Over there, it talks about after Yosef revealed himself. That's why it's in the green. We'll come back to one more yellow, and then we'll have a couple of greens because of the story of Yosef. It says in the pasuk in Vayigash, after Yosef revealed himself, so there it says he gave to all of his brothers a garment, a change of garment, a suit, whatever, and to Binyamin he gave 5.
This is after he revealed himself.
Right, and the question is, he's making jealousy. That's a big problem to make a distinction between the brothers that he gave 5 times more. The thing that he himself suffered from, Yosef suffered from the fact that he was shown favoritism. So he's making the same mistake and showing favoritism to his brother more than everybody else. Where do you see the jealousy? The Ksonos Pasim, the Gemara seems to say that it was wool and only 2 salam. Some say on the sleeves, he made some kind of a cuff of expensive wool that Yaakov added onto Yosef and the rest of the brothers. So the whole thing revolved, and that caused us to go to Mitzrayim. That was the catalyst that got us to go to Mitzrayim. So you see that was the jealousy that caused such big problems. So is Yosef going to make the same mistake? He meant to hint to him something, not about just the garment that he gave him. There's going to be a descendant that's going to come out from the king with 5 kinds of garments. So 5 things. So the 5 garments were not just to give him a present, it was to hint to him that he's going to have a descendant who's going to have 5 garments coming out of the king. That's why the first drash comes in, because it is pasuk Mordechai Yatsa. So we went into the pasuk in Vayigash, and now we're going to go on a bonus of different psukim in Vayigash. The darshan of psukim over there. We're on a tangent now. We're going on a cruise of Parshas Vayigash. Vayipol al Savrei ben Yamin Achiv. It says when he found out, when he revealed himself, so he fell on the neck of his brother Binyamin. So here it says Kama Tzavarin Havulei the Binyamin. These 5 words. So I have to take it out. You have to take out these 5 words. Rashi says take it out, and it's also not in all of the manuscripts and all of the Fusim. It's a mistake, because the way it says it over here, it sounds like the problem is because of the plural, that it says Savirei. And so how many next to Binyamin have? As if to say that the plural is bothering us, and the Gemara is going to say a pshat in the plural. But you have to take it out, and we'll see in a second why. That's not the kasha. The kasha is, there's not a kasha. It's going to be a drash why they were crying. Amar Rabbi Elazar Bachal Shnei Mikdashim Shasidim Lias Bechal Kasha Binyamin Vasidim Lechorev. That Yosef was crying because of the 2 Batei Mikdash that are going to be in the portion of Binyamin and are going to be destroyed. He cried about the Churban of the base of Batei Mikdash, and without the Girsa, nothing to do with the plural. That's why he was crying. I think the word Tzavar, you find Tzavarech Migdal, in the Shir Hashirim, the Tzavar Migdal, the base of Mikdash is called the Tzavar. I think the Ruach explains because just like the neck connects the head and the body, so the Beis Hamikdash connects the Shechina to Am Yisrael. But whatever reason, the Gemara darshan that the Tzavar is the Beis Hamikdash. Then the pasuk ends off, Ubenyamin b'chal Tzavarov. Benyamin cried on the neck of Yosef. What was he crying about? He was crying for the Mishkan Shiloh that was going to be in Shiloh, in the portion of Ephraim, Yosef, and is going to be destroyed. So here it's muchach that you have to take out these 5 words. Nothing to do with the plural, because by Yosef, there's only one, only Mishkan Shiloh. The way that we have the Girsa doesn't make sense, because the Gemara's darshan, the kasha was how many necks did Binyamin have, and it says 2 Batei Mikdash. So how many necks did Yosef have? And the
Tzavarov is also plural.
It's the same word, yeah. Tzavarov is plural, yeah. And Rashi says that you can't be goristed, and he also brings our pasuk. If you look at Rashi on top of the right column, it says, "Don't be goris." His words.
Tzavarei.
Tzavarei is plural. Tzavarov is also plural.
Okay,
Both plural. And Rashi brings a pasuk right here. B'chal Tzavarov. And you see that Rashi says it's always plural. If he's other places also, Chalkas Tzavarov, he says not a kasha. The neck is plural. So that's not the Pshat Gemara. Somebody put it in by mistake, and you have to erase it. The pasuk continues in Parshas Vayigash, V'nei nechem re'os v'nei achim Binyamin, that you see and Binyamin sees that it's me that's talking. Amar Abelazar, Amar Lahem, Kishem Shein Belibi Al Binyamin, Achi Shelo Yeh B'Mechirasi, Ka'achen Belibi Aleichem. The fact that he equated the brothers to Binyamin, that's to show them that there's no difference. The way I don't have anything against Binyamin. He didn't tell me. I don't have anything against you. The pasuk says, "Kifi Adaber Aleichem." You see that it's my mouth. Kifi can be kifi, just like my mouth. That means that whatever I'm telling you is what I'm thinking. I'm not telling you different with my words, and I'm thinking something else. My mouth and heart are the same thing. Kifi, just like my mouth. The pasuk says, he sent to his father 10 donkey loads of the good of Mitzrayim. What's the good of Mitzrayim? What is that? Some say yain yashan. And we sent him wine that old people, Zakanim, they are comforted from it. Good wine that the Zakanim enjoy wine.
But I'm confused. Why are we learning this? That's what's going to do with
So we said, because there's one pasuk in the beginning that we're dashing because it says about the Chamesh Chalifos, and that's where it came out Chayat of Levush Malchus, and because of that, we're zocha to a bonus of a cruise in Parshas Vayigash. We always go on cruise. We always go on. That's why it's in green. It's not in yellow. We're going on a cruise. We're going on a cruise. Vayelchu gam echav. This is fast forwarding, and this is talking about after Yaakov died. So then the brother sent message to Yosef to be mochel, and it says that the brothers themselves fell before Yosef. That's what the saying goes. A fox in its time bowed down to it. It means the fox is not the king. The lion is the king. But when he's being masliach, so bow down to him also. And therefore the brothers bowed down to Yosef, even though he's a fox. He's like less than everybody else. But the Gemara says that can't be. Ta'ala, he's called a fox. Why is he less than the rest of them? It's who is the youngest. But that's not a big difference to call it that they're bowing down to the fox. The statement was different. He's not going in the pasuk of the brothers bowing down to Yosef. He's going in the pasuk by Yishtachu Yisrael lo shamita. That's talking about when Yaakov bowed down, and the Gemara is learning that Yaakov bowed down to Yosef. Some learn it means to Hashem, but here the Gemara is saying that it means to Yosef. Amar Rabbi Yama Bayefes, Amar Rabbi Loza. I'm sorry, I can't make it bigger. Big enough. That's what he meant to say. The fact that Yaakov bowed down to Yosef, that's a chiddush. The father bowing down to his son, that's because he was the king. So, and when he's being masliach, so then you bow down to him also. One more tangent over here. He comforted them and he spoke on their hearts. He told them things that are acceptable, that the heart will be settled. What do you tell them? If 10 were not able to extinguish one, so one is surely not able to extinguish 10. It means even if you don't believe me and you think that I do want to kill you, I'm not going to be able to. The same way you would try to kill me, you weren't able to, so I'm sure I'm not going to be able to kill you. So even if you don't trust me, that I have no tightness on you, but you should be comforted and don't suspect that I'm going to be able to do anything for you. La Yehudim, back to the Megillah says, we're back on yellow. La Yehudim, when they heard the good news that the decree was rescinded, so then to the Jews it was light and happiness and joy and honor. Amar Rav Yehuda, Ora Zutorah, v'cheinu Omer ne'kinem is for Torah. Ora is referring to Torah. Simcha zeh Yom Tov, v'cheinu Omer v'samachta b'chagecha. It says lashon of Simcha. Sasan zumila, v'cheinu Omer sasan rechia l'mosecha. And the drash over there is talking about Mila. V'yikar elu tefillin, v'cheinu Omer v'ro kalam eres kishem v'shem nikro lecha v'yomi Mecca. The pasuk says that the nations are going to see that the name of Hashem is upon you. That means tefillin. You have Hashem, and they're going to fear you. That's referring to the tefillin. So we find that where do you see vikor? I didn't even think about that. I missed the word. How do you see the drasha of vikor over here? How do you see that vikor is tefillin? I didn't think of that. Is it because of nikra? Is any Rashi on that?
How do we know vikar is tefillin?
Yeah. How do you know your car is tefillin? No Rashi.
Isn't that honor? They honor the
So it doesn't say the word honor in any place. It just says that they're going to fear you. So that's called honor. Okay. Anything better than that? Anybody have any commentary that says, well, how do you see vikar in this pasuk is honor?
Tefillin bring honor because they invoke fear in the nations.
Okay. If there's fear, so then there's honor. That doesn't dash in the word. The rest of them, or and Simcha and Sasan, they were all psukim that said that word. But by vikar, there's no such pasuk. The more the pasuk, that's the idea. The concept of fear would mean that they are honored. Okay, and what does that have to do with the story over here? That they had Torah and Yom Tov and Mila and Tefillin. So Rashi says that Haman made xeris against all these things. You don't see it. You don't see this in the megillah in the story, and also you don't see it in the midrashim either. That he made xeris against the Jews, against the Torah. They just he wanted to kill them. Here it says that until he killed them, he also made xeris that they shouldn't be able to learn Torah, they shouldn't be able to keep Yom Tov, they shouldn't be able to do Bris Milah, they shouldn't be able to wear Tefillin. And now that there was rescinded, so now the Jews had all these mitzvahs back again.
Did we get to the thing Shel Rosh?
Yes.
So Shel Rosh is just because it's seen, and
They could see it. I think the nations will see that the name was upon you.
That's what great.
I think so. That they could see the name of Hashem. The Megillah continues. Beis Pashandosa, Beis Talfon, Beis Aspasa says all the 10 names of the sons of Haman, and it ends off Aseres b'nei Haman. That's all part of the pasuk. Amr Avadu min Yafo, Aseres b'nei Haman v'Aseres. The 10 names plus the word Aseres, which is the end of the whole thing, Aseres b'nei Haman. So the 10 names plus the word Aseres, when a person reads the Megillah, he has to say it all with one breath. My timer, because they all were killed simultaneously. People make a mistake and they say they were all hung up simultaneously. It doesn't say that because they were killed simultaneously. They were killed on the 13th of Adar, and Esther asked that they should be given another day in Shushan to kill more, and the 10 sons of Haman who were killed already should be hung up. The sons of Haman were not killed by the gallows, were not hung by the gallows. They were killed the day before by the sword probably, and the heads might have been chopped off, and they were hung up as a degradation. That's in the Megillah Beferish. That's not a drush. That's the word. They were killed on the 13th, and Esther asked they should be hung up after they killed. A day later they were hung up. That's like
how did they die?
By sword.
They died by sword, not by hanging.
Right. By
Yeah,
Haman.
Degradation.
Yeah, to degrade. Right. That shows
And
that
Haman also.
Haman, it says Tlu Olav. Haman, it could be that they hung him. It could be hang him on it. It could be that they hung him by the gallows. Could be that they hung
How do
him.
we know the others by the sword?
Because it doesn't. It surely was not the gallows because it says that they were killed on the 13th, and then Esther asked if they could be hung up on the 14th.
Oh.
So that was that. They were definitely hung up dead. Okay, so how come they are all said in one breath? Because they were simultaneously killed. So I'm just pointing out that doesn't mean hung by the gallows. It means they were simultaneously killed on the 13th. And how does he know that? We don't know. I don't know how he knows that. Next Gemara. Amr Rabbi Yochanan Vav de Vaizasa. Vaizasa is the last son of Haman, the 10th one. And it says the Vav of the word Vaizasa, it has to be stretched. Now, the next three words, some don't even have the words. It's very mysterious words. Some don't have it even. But the words do mean they have to be stretched like a gallows. Kemordia de Livros. So they say that means like a rudder of the river called Livros. Very strange words. Some don't even have it. And it means something long, like a long stick that's called a rudder of the river that's called Baros or something like that.
Which one is Vaizasa? The first one?
But this is the last one.
Is the last one and the Vav of that before his name.
The Vav, the first letter of his name.
Oh, that's part of his name.
Vaizasa.
Should be what?
Should be stretched. So that's the question. What does it mean to be stretched? Some Rishonim learn that it means that he said that the Balkore stretches it out. Vaizasa. And some say that has to be a big Vav. You have to write it as a big Vav. And we do both. We write it as a big Vav and also we stretch it out. The Balkore is supposed to stretch out to emphasize the Vav.
Why?
It says here. My timer. We didn't do it yet. Kulu b'chad zekifa is the kifa because they were all hung on the same gallows. So the Vav, it represents the gallows. And you make a big one. Why? For all of them. Not only Vaizasa, for all 10 of them, they were hung on the same gallows. The reason why you say that all 10 sons in one breath is because they were killed simultaneously on the 13th. The reason why we have to make a big Vav, either by sounding it or writing it, is that all the sons were hung up on the same gallows. I shouldn't say the word gallows because it doesn't mean hanging him up as a gallows. It means hanging him up high up, even if he's killed already the day before. When you make bricks on a house, anytime you make bricks, so you don't make them on top, piled on top of each other. you alternate in order that it should stand stronger. That's called a brick al gabel levain. A brick is a half a brick, and levain is a full brick. You make one full brick, two half bricks. It could be another levain, but it means that they're alternating. So when you write a shira, like the shiras Hayam, Parshas B'Shalach, so shiras Devora, so they're written in a way that bricks, that you have two short ones and then one long one in the middle, etc. But there's an exception. Chutz mishira zu u'malchi kanan. The shira, this is called the shira. The 10 sons of Haman is called the shira. It's supposed to be written not alternating, but it's supposed to be just like two pillars on the two sides, one on top of the other.
How do you find a shira?
Because it's not written regular. You don't write it. You
No,
don't,
see, but that's the way it's written. But why is it called a shira? You say it's written a different way.
so it's called the shira because this is a song of the death of the sons of Haman. It's written in a not a regular way. That's called the shira, I guess. And also Malchi Kanan. Malchi Kanan is the Sefer Yeshua. It says about the 31 kings that Yeshua was able to conquer. And also they're written over there, Melech Yerushalayim Echad, Melech Yamos Echad. So also it's written on two straight lines. Why?
I'm sorry, here the half brick is the middle one.
I think not. I think that the middle one is the long one, the vein, and then
The
you have,
middle one is the long one.
and there's a machlokes in the
And here
Rishonim over
they
here,
have a
but
diagram of that the middle one is higher.
that's not the point. The point is how it's alternating. First you have one long one and then two short ones, two sides. Then you have again the middle one and you have again two sides. Like we would make bricks also, and the way the shira looks in the
Okay.
there's a machlokes Rishonim about this point, but just to say simple, I think that's simple. And but here's an exception. Where are we
Well, the
holding?
long one, it has to be above. In other words, the long one you read first, then you read. the two
I'm not
sides.
saying which one is first. I'm not saying that it's supposed to be alternating. It could be the first one is a long one, but that's not the point so much. And the Gemara continues about the exception. Shiva Zu Umalchi Canaan. So over here, that the 10 sons of Haman and also the kings of Canaan and Sefer Yeshua, it's supposed to be not alternating. It's supposed to be one on two straight pillars. My time is because on the contrary, that it shouldn't be able to get up again. They fall and they should fall. They shouldn't get up again. So the other Shiva is like a sturdy, made sturdy. This is made not sturdy. Let's point out that Shira Sazinu is also like that. The Rishonim say Shira Sazinu also has two straight lines. It doesn't have anything in the middle. And the Rishonim say over there, it's also talking about the Mapola of the Goyim that have pained us, all of the generations. So they also says psukim about their pain. So also they're also written with two straight lines.
Two straight lines means that it's
Two
not
sides.
as
Not
stable.
alternating. It's not
as
stable. Not
and
stable. Right. It would
It's a
fall.
permanent.
Right. It should be a permanent fall. The pasuk says, "Vayomer hamelech l'estei hamalkot b'Shushana biru agua Yehudim v'abeit chamesh me'os ish." The pasuk says the king told Esther that in Shushan they killed 500 people, and what else can I do for you? So the pasuk doesn't sound like that. It sounds like it changes the tone in mid sentence. The Malach came and slapped him. Means first he was coming with kindness that they killed 500 people, and what else can I do for you? Like that was because the Malach changed his attitude because he gave him a slap on his mouth. Don't talk that way. And then he changed his tune and he started asking, "What else can I do for you?" The pasuk says, when she came, the pasuk is at the end of the Megillah is narrating what Esther did. So it says when she came before the king. So the simple word is that he, the king, decreed with a written decree that whatever it says after that. But the Gemara is mentioning that it should have meant that she's the one who caused that it should be changed. The decree should be changed. So why does it say Omar? It should have said Omra. Omar? Omrami Boyle. It should have said that she said. Amr Rabbi Yochanan is a drash over here. To take out these two words, Amr Lo, you can take out these two words. That it should be said by the mouth, that which is written, which means that you're supposed to be the Megillah Esther from a Megillah. You're not supposed to just look at it with your eyes. You're supposed to say it with your mouth, that which is written in the book. So you have to read the Megillah Esther by mouth. That's a drash. The pasuk says, Mordechai sent the Vrei Shalom V'emes. The simple pshat in the pasuk over there is that he sent greetings to the people, that he said that they should continue doing the mitzvah of Purim. But the Gemara's dashing is referring to the Megillah Esther itself. That the Megillah has to be aligned. That when you write that tefillin, mezuzah, you're supposed to etch out the lines. The sofer is supposed to write on a straight line. He doesn't make an ink line like we do, but he makes an etched out line. So the Megillah also has to have sirtut. There's a question that the Pashran, the Gemara says that the Sefer Torah, just like the Torah has to have sirtut, so too the Megillah Esther. Tefillin, for instance, doesn't have to. They do it also, it makes it neater, but the tefillin doesn't have to. A mezuzah does, Sefer Torah does, and a Megillah also does. Umamar Esther Kiyam. So the simple words are saying over there that the word of Esther upheld the whole decree of making Purim because of her word. That's why it happened, that the mitzvah, the celebration of Purim. But the Gemara says, Mamar Esther in Divriyat Somoslo. So the way our Gemara says it, there's different gears, but our Gemara says as if only the word of Esther caused the holiday of Purim. Was it not also the fast days that also caused there should be Purim? Now, of course, that's true, that the fast days caused the salvation, but the Purim, the Gemara's kasha is a bit strange, that the fast days also caused Purim. Rabbi Yochanan, Divriyat Somos u'Ma'amar Esther Kiyam Divriyat Purim. So according to the Gemara's answer, so you put it all together, even though Divriyat Somos is the pasuk before, and then it says that maybe it's good to put onto the screen the pasuk over here, if I can find it. Let's find megillah Esther a second.
Because it talks about the fast here. Divriyat Somos.
I just want to show the pasuk that we should be able to see it together. Here it is, pasuk 31, 32. Here it says in pasuk 30 that Mordechai sent letters to all the Jews in the 127 provinces to uphold the days of Purim in their times, the same way Mordechai, Yehuda, Esther, Amalka upheld them, and as they accepted upon themselves and their seed, their children, the issues of the fast days and their outcry, the same way it happened, so then they should continue celebrating it. Pasuk 32, the word of Esther upheld these issues of Purim, and it was written, it was recorded. But the more saying a drash that Divriyat Somos v'Zad Kasam u'Ma'amar Esther, the more connecting the end of pasuk 31 to pasuk 32. Divriyat Somos v'Zad Kasam u'Ma'amar Esther Kam Divriyat Purim, that the fast days and the word of Esther, they upheld the issue of Purim. That the fast days also were part of the upholding. There's a different girsa if anybody's bothered with the words the way it says it. There is a different girsa, but for now it's late, so we'll just leave it the way it says, and we just explained it the way our text says. The pasuk says, "Ki Mordechai Yehudim Mishnah Melech Achashverosh v'Gadola Yehudim v'Batzur L'Bavachad." Mordechai was the second to the king. He was replaced the place of Haman, and he's great to the Jews and favored to the abundance of his brothers. But the word is not actually to most of his brothers. Only most, not all. Makes us Sanhedrin menu. Some of the Sanhedrin, they distanced themselves from him. Why? What did he do wrong? So I have no idea. He didn't do anything wrong. It does say, the Gemara is going to say right away that he wasn't able to spend as much time in the Sanhedrin anymore because he was connected to the king. Mishnah Melech, he had to take care of political issues. But that's the reason why he might not have been as great as he was before. But it's not that he did anything wrong. I don't understand. I'm not have no pshat. Why that's a reason to separate? He didn't do wrong. That's what he's supposed to do. Like they say the mashal that it says right away, the next lines, Amri of Yosef, Gadol Talmud Torah Yosef Metzals Nefashos. That learning Torah is a higher level than somebody who saves lives. So of course, if someone is sitting in the Beis Medrash and he knows CPR and they come in, there's an emergency, and he's going to say, I'm in the middle of learning, please come back in a half hour, I'll be able to help you if it's still around. Of course, that's not true. So that what does it mean? That the more it means that a Talmud Chacham and somebody who's a surgeon, a chovesh, a paramedic, and he saves lives, who's a greater person? The person who learns Torah. Doesn't mean that you don't stop learning in order to save somebody. So of course, you're supposed to do what you're supposed to do. Each person, Hashem makes the circumstance what he's supposed to do. Who's greater? The person who's learning Torah is a greater person. But what did Mordechai do wrong? He didn't do anything wrong.
I'm just thinking out loud. Who said he did something wrong?
So why do you separate yourselves?
I know, no, they didn't hold him in Russia.
Not in Russia,
They
but
wanted to hang around.
It's not a reason. It's not a reason not to hang around with him. He's if he's not a Sanhedrin, he's not going to be there as much. But it's not a reason to separate. The Pirush Mimenu sounds like they're making a protest. They're separating from him.
It's not a protest.
It's not.
And Yehoyada says that he now himself with the government for potential threats in the future.
And he shouldn't have done it. I don't. That's a chiddush. That means if the king appointed him to be Mishnah Melech, I don't see. It's okay. If that would answer the question. If it's true, that would answer the question. I didn't have to. He could have stayed in the Beis Medrash. He didn't have to go to politics. I was thinking that he does have to. So even though he's less of a level now, but he didn't do anything wrong. And what he's saying, that it's possible that they didn't do anything wrong and they didn't.
He wants to, they want to be friends with Talmidei Chacham. They don't want to be friends with politicians.
So,
Not because he's a bad person.
Visual,
They just
okay.
thinking, they rather, someone higher level. They want to
Okay.
stay friends with.
okay. Where we hold this to see where we're holding in order to, what time is it? It's already, so we'll stop here. The Gemara, it's a new sugya now, so it does continue it. That's the one more word. Amar Rav Yosef, Gadol Talmud Torah Yosef Matel Sefashis, which is saying why Mordechai dropped in his level, because before he was learning and he was part of Sanhedrin, and then he had to be involved in saving lives. The Talmud Chacham is a higher level, and that's what the Gemara is going to prove now. I will save that for tomorrow. So we're up to Amar Rav Yosef. That's where we continue tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yashikov, thank you. We'll be back in a couple of minutes, a minute or two, to go with what do we do today? Pirkei Avos. Thank you very much. Just everybody, and Shaul especially, is the recording good? And I just want to see about the microphone, if everyone is hearing well, if it's working.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much. Thank
Good
you.
morning.
Thank you.
Agreed.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Joel. It sounds much better. I can hear it much better on my computer.
Thank you, Shaul.
Thank you very much.